The book of Job, chapter 14, verse 5, and it reads, Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazal of the Indianapolis camp, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, your 12 tribes scattered abroad. All right, got this article from End Time Prophecies that I'm going to be reading here, and it is a last-ditch effort of Esau to pretty much do away with the nation of Israel, according to the prophecies of Jeremiah 31. All right, and End Time Headlines article. Forget, it came out yesterday. It was posted yesterday. But the title is the EU, and the EU we know to be the 10 horns, according to the scriptures. EU looking at ways to block out the sun and change weather patterns on Earth. And it starts out, the European Union will join an international effort to assess whether large-scale interventions such as deflecting the sun's rays or changing the Earth's weather patterns are viable options for fighting climate change. According to Bloomberg, the bloc will announce the framework Wednesday for assessing the security implications of a rapidly warming planet, such as the potential for scarce water or food to trigger conflict and migration, according to draft document seen by Bloomberg. And we know this is all the work of Esau. They started messing with water sources already with these train derailments, putting toxic chemicals in the water as such. All the contaminations, we know that BP had one in the state of Illinois earlier this week. All right. And as far as the food sources, they've been burning down food plants for a couple years now. Okay. And telling farmers, buying up all the farmland. All right. So they can stop things and, genetically modifying food. You just had the FDA approve this synthetic chicken. It's just an entire mess. Okay. So we know all of these are part of his plan to eventually get to that MOTB. All right. Back to the article. Part of that assessment includes studying the potential dangers of re-engineering the atmosphere. And that's what they do. They believe, according to the scriptures, that they are just as good as Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Well, we're soon to find out that, they've only deceived themselves. All right. Continuing on, the technologies introduce new risks to people and ecosystems, while they could also increase power imbalances between nations, spark conflicts, and raise a myriad of ethical, legal, governance, and political issues, according to the document, which is subject to change. Embarking on this research pushes the EU into the debate over whether so-called climate geoengineering is good science or just science fiction distraction with potentially dangerous implications for the planet and its atmosphere. The bloc would like to see international discussions on creating rules for the fledgling sector. The EU will support international efforts to assess comprehensively the risks and uncertainties of climate interventions, including solar radiation modification, according to the document. Such large-scale interventions have emerged alongside scientific advances and growing concerns that nations will overshoot their target to limit global warming to 1.5 Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. The potential options include stratospheric aerosol injections, which involves increasing the concentration of particles in the atmosphere to reduce the amount of sunlight reaching the Earth's surface. And we have no idea what those stratospheric injections, aerosol injections, are going to do to the respiratory systems of the people on Earth. But here again, that's Esau being Esau. But going back to the topic, it says the EU looking at ways to block out the sun and change weather patterns on Earth. Okay, and that blocking out the sun is key because that is their last ditch effort, to cast off the children of Israel outside of the MOTB. They had four things to try to attack according to the prophecy of Jeremiah 31, and this is the last one as we'll go through. So let me get Jeremiah. This is chapter 31 and beginning at verse 35. I've done a number of lessons on this one, but ironically, everything that's going on with the sky, we just had this issue here in Indianapolis where the weather pattern said it was partly cloudy outside with some sun, but the stuff that was covering the sky, the first, I want to say from Tuesday night on, was just ridiculous. You couldn't see anything Wednesday morning, even though the forecast said that there was plenty of sun out there. All right. So this is Jeremiah 31, beginning at verse 35. Thus saith Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from me, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Okay? He says, if those ordinances depart from me, saith Lord, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. Okay? So he tried to take away the moon already. We know in 1959, it was called NASA Project A119. They attempted to send a nuclear missile to the moon. Okay. And Jake, the fact that they did that and, have an understanding of the scriptures, that's, really telling you how much Esau hates you. Okay. If he's willing to blow up the moon to get rid of you, that's how much that birthright means to him. Okay. He does not want you around because he knows, with Israel being around, his end is inevitable. Okay, according to Obadiah 1:18. All right, verse 37. Thus saith Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, so once again, they have not measured the heavens. Scientists have admitted, we do not have a metal or alloy that is strong enough to withstand the radiation of the Van Allen belt. Okay, so in other words, they never made it to the moon. And, if they say that they did, the question still remains. Who took the picture of the astronauts landing, and who took the picture of them going? All right. Likewise, if you you can be in the same building and lose your cell phone signal, um, how in the world was Neil Armstrong talking to Nixon on a landline? All right. Yeah. So those are questions that they can't be answered. And the reason they can't be answered because they never did go. Okay. So in both of those, and then searching out the foundations of the earth beneath. Okay. You just had that tin can called the Titanic trying to go down to the ocean, the bottom of the ocean. Didn't happen. Okay. There's stuff that they haven't seen now. It has not been discovered. Okay. So if they have not discovered it, what's up with this lie about, hell being in the center of the earth? You can't search it, Esau, no matter how hard you try. You can't do it. These are things that, he set himself that no man should be able to discover. But, you think yourself as the Most High, and that's just not going to happen. But let's prove that it's Esau, in both of those scriptures back at the end of 36. He said, if the ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me. And he said the same thing in 37 about the heavens being measured and the foundations of the earth being searched out beneath. That the seed of Israel will be cast off. All right. Well, who wanted Israel cast off? We can explain that in Genesis 27:41. And this is when the blessings were being delved out to Jacob and Esau from their father Isaac. Okay. And Genesis 27:41, and it reads, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay, so if he kills Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel in Genesis 32 and reiterated in Genesis 35, there's no 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, and just to prove that it wasn't just for that time, I'm going to get Amos 1:11. All right, even though there's a plethora of scriptures that tell us where he tried to, just wreaked havoc on us in our captivities with other nations, as well as when he's had us in captivity. This is Amos 1:11, and it reads, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, that's sin upon sin, iniquity upon iniquity, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So that ancient hatred never went away. Okay, and that sword, any type of modern day instrument of killing, namely the gun, but we've seen it through pharmaceuticals, and other means of, getting rid of the 12 tribes of Israel off of the face of the earth. Okay, but the Lord said he will not turn away the punishment thereof, and that punishment is coming. We know that, for those who led us into captivity, are going to go into captivity. Those who killed us by the sword shall be killed by the sword. That's Revelations 13:10. All right. And then he says that punishment will be twice as long and twice as hard. For the most part, just roughly paraphrasing Revelations chapter 18, verse 6. And then ultimately, they're going to be done away with by the hands of Judah and, Ephraim. The northern and the southern kingdom, the entire nation of Israel, according to Obadiah 1:18. All right, we know that that's going to happen. So it has been him who has been trying to kill us for the longest. But is that going to happen? No. This is 1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 22. And it reads, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it hath pleased Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to make you his people. Okay? He is not going to forsake us. So despite that prophecy in Jeremiah 31, okay, Israel is going to survive. All right? The remnant, first of all, and then all of Israel, according to Romans 11. All right, let's get that and prove that via Malachi 3 and 6. And it reads, "For I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." Okay, he changes not. Ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. And once again, Jacob is interchangeable with Israel, according to Genesis 32 and 35. You are not consumed. So we will not be cast off. All right. You know, even with this last ditch effort of blocking out the sun. All right. And let's just prove that, you know, even with every effort you make, that's not going to happen. This is the letter. This is in the Apocrypha, the letter of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 60. And it reads, "For sun, moon, and stars, being bright and sent to do their offices, are obedient." Are obedient, meaning that they're going to fulfill the purpose for exactly what they were made for. Okay? Those ordinances will not depart from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They will not depart. Meaning that, you know, the nation of Israel is going to come through out of this. You know, we're going to go through some rough times with Jacob's trouble, but you can't take those ordinances away. Okay? Not the ordinance of the sun, moon, and the stars. All right? Let me back that up. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 43, verses 1 through 10. I'm going to read those, but the point is in 10. But I just want you to see that it's talking about, you know, the sun, the moon, and the stars. All right. Sirach chapter 43, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, verse 1. And it reads, "The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of the heaven, with his glorious show, the sun, when it appeareth, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High." Verse 3, "At noon it parcheth the country, who can abide the burning heat thereof?" Verse 4, "A man blowing a furnace in his works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors, and sending forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes." Verse 5, "Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment runneth hastily." Verse 6, "He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world." Verse 7, "From the moon is a sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection." Verse 8, "The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven." Verse 9, "The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Lord." Verse 10, and here's the point, "At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches." All right. So based on that article, you know, those who understand the scriptures, the elect, okay, the prophets who are out here day in and day out, weekend, on the highways and byways every weekend, you know, every week doing these video epistles, okay, we know you will not be successful in blocking out that sun. But here again, like it says, you know, you gotta, you know you have a short time. You have bounds you cannot pass. You know your time is short, so you're gonna make that last ditch effort. You failed at all of them. even and you're going to fail at this one, Esau. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying for the body. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird. To you, I say Shalom, Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala.